Good afternoon. Welcome at the Smart Factory in Zoller in Germany. I'm very happy to welcome you today for this Wow of the Month event, which will held from now on every month. So I'm very happy that you participate in this meeting today. Thanks for joining us. So my name is Jörg Sever, and I'm the export director from Zoller Germany. So Zoller is the world leading manufacturer of precision measuring machines. So every company which has a CNC machines needs our technology to reduce the machine downtimes, to reduce tooling cost, the scrap, and to increase, of course, the quality of the work pieces. So very important is, however, how do we get the tool data to the CNC machine? And there, Zoller offers many data output options. We can, for example, print out a label with the measuring results of the tool and type it in manual in the CNC control. Then we can, of course, also read an RFID chip, which is fixed at the tool holder. And at the machine, we have then an RFID reader, which reads in the tool data into the CNC control, or we can perform and control specific data outputs. However, today we want to present our zidCode 4.0 technology, which offers a perfect price-performance ratio. I don't want to make it too long introduction, so we better use the time for live presentations. So I will present you now our product manager, Mr. Joshua Schade, who will perform a live presentation of our zidCode technology. Before I forget it, of course, we have a chat function in the background. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to send us the questions via the chat. And then, of course, we try to answer the questions directly, or if it's not possible, after the presentations. So I wish you now a very nice demonstration. Joshua, please start your presentation.
Yeah, thank you very much for this wonderful introduction. Hello, everybody. Just like you said already, I wanted to show you now our zidCode communication platform. We started with the development of this in around 2015. And the first idea was what we see on the market is how complicated it is to communicate with machine controllers, how complicated it is to transfer tool data. And the only available solution which is handleable on the market was the RFID solution. And we saw that we need another solution, a more simple solution where it is simple to transfer the data from our database, from our presetters to the controllers. And in addition, in our second solution, which I want to show you in the second step, there was the idea just also to get the data back to handle tool lifetime and so on. And also another point which we were focused with is in our year 2023, and it's getting more and more to find skilled workers. It's not so easy. So you know how simple a solution have to be in that area where you don't find so many skilled workers. These are the challenges which we are focused with and why we developed this zidCode solution. We have two solutions, what we call it zidCode platform. ZID means just Zoller identification code because we're communicating with the controllers, but we scan all the time information. We scan a QR code, we scan a tool or something, a 2D code, which contains required information for our data transfer. First solution is a real simple solution. We name it zidCode. Of course, our process starts at this presetter. And I'll show you now how simple it is and give you some technical information about it. So we clamp our tool here inside. Tool is already loaded. It's always a good thing to save data in the database, to set up the data. It has a lot of advantages. Just for example, all your tools are measured all the time in the same way, and the data were transferred to the controllers always correctly, and not everybody have to fill in different data like it is sometimes. If you have a skilled worker, he enters correct data, then you have a new employee and he corrects whatever he wants, whatever. But in our case, when we set up the data, everything is transferred in a good way, in an efficient way to our CNC controller at the end. So our tool is measured. All we have to do, one thing I want to show you here are the data which you can transfer to the controller. For example, tool lifetime is possible to maximum 3 steps of a tool. So and all what we do at the end is clicking on the label print for zidCode, and it will print out our label. So I show that label to you. What we have here, just what you have on the label is a QR code which contains all the required information for your tool. It's in a ZOLLER specific format, and in addition we have ZNX, for example. This is what the solution is made for simplified data transfer. So we found out not all of our customer needs a lot of data. Sometimes you need, but not everybody. For some is ZX and some basic data, maybe a second step is really enough. And this is what this is made for. So we have our label. You can bond it on our tool or just to a plastic clip or whatever. And with this tool, we go now to our machine controller. Here we will have a Heidenhain 640 controller, real controller, but without the machine, of course, because we're having here just a simulation today. So we have here our zidCode is connected to this controller via USB. And all what we do is just we simulate the keyboard. So everything what your operator is doing on the controller the whole day is that what we program in that and what we transfer. So it's not a complicated setup. It's not complicated because you don't have to mount something on the machine or assemble and disassemble. All that is not required. Just a USB port is required, and then we can transfer tool data via simulating the keyboard. So how we do it here is we go to the tool table, we take the scanner, scan it, and then, like you see, or not. Yeah, it was too fast. Okay, no problem. I can do it again. Just I will delete the tool. Yes. So we can do it again. Go to the tool table, and now you will see that we take out the scanner. Now you see how it works. What we can transfer, ZX, just one step. This is how we get really simple, really fast the tool data into the controller. You can load it to the machine really fast. It's a safe way. And now we have around 1,000 installations all around the world, which shows how our customer loved this simple solution. Also because it's not a network connected setup. So you don't need a network for it. No additional installation about this. Just a QR code, bring it to your machine, load it to the machine, and that's it. Of course, this is our basic, our simple solution, which moves a lot of our customers for different steps forward. But we also thought, like I said in the beginning, okay, what if we want to get data back to our database? If we want to communicate with machines, we want to make calculations, evaluations, and so on. So this is the reason why we developed our other solution, our zidCode 4.0 with its own software, which is communicating directly with the controller. Of course, in the beginning, we started with the post-processor solution. Post-processor isn't something which is modern art to communicate with controllers. It's a working solution, but lots of our customers didn't like it. Just selecting a file in a different folder, then they have to stop the machine, then they have to run it, and it's really complicated. Too complicated sometimes in different controllers. So we have to communicate directly with the controllers between our zidCode and the controller. And this is why we developed this solution. And I want to show you how we communicate with zidCode 4.0 with this Heidenhain controller and what you can do with it. For that, we go back to our presetter. Here, like you will see it in the next moments, we developed here another module, especially for that process. Because like I said, it's hard to get skilled workers So sometimes what we see in a lot of factories is just you have just 1 or 2 skilled workers. They know how to set up the data, and all the others are not really familiar with it. So it has to be a simple solution. And this, what we made, is a simple solution. You see here directly big buttons. You can just customize them. So show only buttons which are required for your operator. And the basic of it is just we have to scan the tool, and we have to scan it. Here you see, here's our ID chip, this yellow one we created on our own. It's just a data matrix code inside. So now you see it, great. Data matrix code, which is in a real safe way to mark codes. You can bond it inside this RFID hole. So RFID is not required for this anymore. Also others go that way, that they laser mark their holders or whatever. Just inside we need the inventory number of that tool. And that makes it really flexible, because at that moment now it's inventorized and it's just a drill. But if you take out the drill, you uninventorize it, you put in an end mill, and then you inventorize it again, and then you say, okay, now you are an end mill. This is how simple the solution is, and this is why we have only the inventory number here inside. So then we go to here, clamp it in our spindle, and we want to measure tool, so we just click on measure tool. Now again, you see how simple it is. We created here an animation which shows directly, okay, here is something to scan. The operator knows directly I have to scan the tool. In addition, the machine is not selected. Of course, there's nothing flexible like the manual process, but the manual process could be dangerous because it's really related to the operator, which is doing the manual process. So in our case, you don't have to select the machine because you can go to every machine, but you're not so restricted in that process. Because of that, you don't have to select it. You can go to everywhere where your zidCode is connected to, and this makes it really flexible according to that easy solution. So what we do now is just we scan the tool, and you see everything is loaded directly because the tool is already inventorized. Data are set up by a skilled operator. We measure the tool, and it asks me directly if I want to reset the tool life. This is also an important function for that, what we say, okay, sometimes you don't see how old is a tool, how this is used, because if you use it just a few minutes, sometimes the operator, of course, they want to do a good job. So what they do often is, oh, I don't know exactly how old the tool is. Okay, just throw it away and take a new one. And this increased costs, but it don't have to increase the cost. In our case, we also have a focus on our on the tool lifetime. So it asks me, because it could happen that I exchange now the drill, and then I can set the lifetime automatically back to 100%. In addition, this makes it also flexible according to our other solutions, because if you don't have the stock at the moment from us, from our TMS solution, then of course you can start directly with it and handle it with your current stock. And then later, a bit more down the road, you can say, okay, just now I want to add the stock, and then you do it with our stock, and then this happens automatically. So this makes it really flexible for you, and you can say I start with the basic step, and then I increase my solution step by step. So here in our case, it's you see 71%. It's a new one. We can say okay or not. But what I wanted to show you is, of course, you see the measurement values. They are also controlled. So if you are outside the tolerance, of course, it will block it. Let's go to lifetime. You see here directly the lifetime of a tool. You see, okay, it just has 71%. It's not 100%. And you see the current lifetime, which is great to give a feedback to our operators. One information in addition, when you select the machine, of course, you can have an exchange list. So then we can check if the tool is already loaded. And if it is loaded, we mark it as in a red color. And if it is already loaded, you can decide with F2, with a bin. You can say, okay, I don't need it because it's already loaded. Or you can say, okay, just I need it because it's a sister tool or whatever. And then you can exchange it. Everything is possible in here. All what we do now is we click now F1, and now the data is stored in our database. So it's in a universal format. not according to a machine. We didn't say, okay, it's just specially for that machine. It's universal because the zidCode 4 at the end knows on which machine it's connected to. And this one say then, okay, we need that specific format. And this makes then the change for it. Okay, then we go to the machine, zidCode 4. I hope we see it now in the next seconds. The same principle here, big buttons so that it is easy to see what we want to do, and it have to be simple. Also here we click on load machine because now we want to load that tool to the controller. All the operator has to do is just scan it, like it is always in our process, scan the tool and get the information you need. You know then what tool it is. We have here directly the data. You can change if necessary, for example, the T number. If it is another T number, you can change it here. That makes it also flexible. And then we click on data output. Now it asks me, okay, which is the right location? What is the right magazine slot for it? Is that okay or not? So there are two ways. One way is just we can transfer the tool data just to the tool list of the controller, not to the magazine, just to the tool list. And then the operator selects in his controller the tool and click on load the tool. And then the magazine drives to the right position and he can load it. This is one process. And in this process, we check if the tool is really loaded to make it safe, of course, because data transfer has to be safe. And this is how we developed it. The other way is just when you think about bigger machines. So we get a lot of customer feedback because we developed it together with customers for customers. So we had bigger machines, and on the backside, it happens really often that there's sometimes no controller like this one, or just a not 100% working controller, only with basic information. So there you can place the zidCode 4.0. It tells you, okay, just put it to that position. You can load it. We click on load tool, and then we write to the magazine list and no, we write to the tool list and to the magazine list. So both is possible. In our case, we just have that controller and we have to write to both. And you see now it's loaded. We click on the tool table. So we go to tool number 12 and it's directly loaded. If we go deeper, we see much more information. Important for you, the DOC field is then blocked from us. There we have to write into the inventory number of the tool. This we need for our communication. But in addition, we can write whatever description or something together with the inventory number. You see, all the data comes in automatically, nothing to do directly there. Just what we can do, okay, just think about the product is not produced. You're finished, you take out the tool, and the lifetime is going a bit down, let's say 20. Then we click on end. And now you want to unload it, so you take it out from your magazine, you click on unload, and there you have the tool list with all the tools which are loaded to your controller. And when you scan them, then it will show you that window. Of course, you see on the bottom side the warning limit and locked. This is a small filter which optimizes the unloading process. So if the warning limit of a tool is reached, you will see it. Or if a tool is locked, that happens when a tool is broken, for example, and you have a sensor on the back side, then it will lock it inside the controller, and then you see all the locked tools, and then you can unload and reassemble them or whatever. So we scanned it already. You can enter a reason. You can add some more reasons. We will write that back to our database. So we created a small statistic module where you can do at the end your evaluations or detailed checks and see if a tool is run like planned, for example. So we click on Unload Tools. And what happens now is we take the lifetime back to our database. But you don't have to remeasure it again. For example, this is a question we get really often. Do we have to remeasure it? No, we don't have to remeasure it. You can go directly to next controller. If I click again on TNC load machine, you can scan it and you see the remaining tool life, the 20 minutes. The tool is out from the controller, but it's back in our database. So when you go to the next one, the tool life is automatically updated. Okay, one additional information. You saw here this, now it's yellow marked, this TNC external tool. It's created for external tools, which means if there are tools which are too big to load to the magazine, for example, then you can load them over the process. We just write to the tool table And when the controller loads the tool inside the NC program, of course, the spindle will drive in front of the operator, and he can load it from the spindle, for example. The other way is what happens. So you see, we get a lot of customer feedback. What happens if a tool is broken and you want to take it out from the spindle? This is also handleable over this process. You can take it out from the spindle, exchange the drill, remeasure it, bring it back, clamp it into, now scan it first, and then we just update the tool data, and you can bring it to the spindle and you can go on working. These are the different things you can do with it. And of course, you will have the information mode, which gives you information about the tool all the time, because all we have is just data matrix code on it, and you want to have sometimes the information. So you can go here, scan it, and then you get your information. One of the question which comes up now is it made only for 640s? No, not only for 640s. The basic development is also created for the new TNC7 and also backward. It works with the 530, and we also implement it to work together with 430s, but it's working, of course, better with newer controllers. 530s and 640s are the common versions on the market. Next question, of course, which will come up is, does it work also for others, like for Siemens? And this is what we wanted to show you in addition, how it works with Siemens, what we can do there. And for that, we go now to our MCO controller, which has a Siemens controller on it. But for that, we go that way. Welcome on our MCO controller, which has this Siemens 828D. By the way, here you see the zidCode, how it looks like. The basic version, it's just mounted with magnets to it. You have the scanner here, you can scan it and it will load also to Siemens controllers. That works fine too. Here on the left side, on my left side, we have the zidCode 4.0 with the Siemens interface, and we transfer the tool data from here to here. And to show you one additional possibility, we have here our keeper. So some of our customers, they just prepare the tools in the day shift for the night shift, for example. So they place one of these keepers directly in a manufacturing area, and the operators, they use our quick pick, for example, to take out the tools. They are already measured, so they can load them directly with the zidCode 4.0. And this is what we wanted to show you here. So we just take out the tool from our keeper, and then we go to, like you see it before, to our Siemens. So it's a Siemens. Can you share the screen, please? That you believe me that everything is live and it's working, and it's not just a show or a trick. Okay. So I scan the tool here. Of course, here you will get the same like you had seen before, just the tool information, and all we do is click on data output, and then we transfer the tool data directly to the controller. Oh, one thing is failed, so one moment, please. Try again. Of course, this interface is not officially released. Currently, it's in the release process. So something like this could happen, of course. But now you see the data is here and directly not loaded to the magazine list of the tool, but to the tool list of the Siemens controller. All the tool data is there, and all you have to do is just select it and click on load. And then, of course, for example, on a milling machine, the magazine will turn to the right position, or here the revolver will turn to you, and you can load the tool. At the end, the same thing, the same idea. You just unload the tool, and all you have to do here, click on unload machine. You scan the tool again and click on unload. It will delete the data from here and write back, for example, tool lifetime back to our database. You can take the tool, you can go to the next machine and load it again. So the same principle is developed for Siemens, which is officially released hopefully in the next weeks. Depends on how the release process goes, but at the end it have to be safe. So this is an important thing for us, and that we do that whole release process. Of course, the question is now, what is with other controllers like Fanuc, like Matzak, and so on? I can tell you we are working on it. With some of them, we really a lot of steps forward. We worked with all of them together, also with Fanuc, Matsak, Matsura, Makino, and so on. And they will come in this year. Also direct interfaces like we developed it with Heidenhain and Siemens. So they will come in the next months, or yeah, it depends on what we do in the next steps. So there are a lot of machines we wanted to connect to, and this makes us really proud that it works together with our partners and we can send the data so easily to the controllers. That's it from my side. I hope you enjoyed this short show. And now we go back to Jörg and we can answer your questions, for example.
So thank you, Joshua, for the excellent presentation. I think we've seen some beautiful technology this afternoon. Your guests, I hope you have enjoyed it as well. So I've heard that we have a problem with the chat function. So in case you might have any questions also after the event, you can send it to me. I think many of the guests, they know me. If not, you can always, as a final customer, send it to a local representative. So we will have now an Wow for Months event every month. Every first Wednesday of the month, you can register through the MyZoller platform, where you also get a perfect overview of all the events. So I would like to invite you already today for one of the next events or the following events. Anyway, so we are now at the end of our presentation, of our event. Thank you very much for joining us. So I wish you all the best and have a nice day. If you have visitors from Asia, have a nice evening. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.